It's me, Mario!
What's up, guys? I'm SeanRaider, and welcome to the second part in my Super Mario 64 70-star speedrun guide. This part will be covering Princess's Secret Slide, Tower of the Wing Cap, and Bowser in the Dark World in depth with multiple strats and backups throughout. Feel free to use the timestamps in the description to skip to a specific section. If you want to check out my other guides, there's a playlist with all of them at the top of the description. Without further ado, let's start where we left off in part 1. Jump kick, then double jump dive to exit the room. Hold up right and single jump, then side flip up left to the door. Jump kick forward, then hold right and jump into the painting. This entrance can take a bit to get used to because it's super small, but you'll get used to it after a few runs. Like last video, I'm just going to let these clips play uncommentated first, then explain them fully afterwards.
Here we go!
The secret slide has 2 stars. One requires you to finish in under 21 seconds, and the other is just a box at the bottom. To get there much faster than 21 seconds, we use a trick called slide skip to skip an entire section and fall to the end. Long jump forward twice and continue to hold forward. A split second after hitting this coin, hold up right until you hit the wall. The goal here is to turn Mario around so he slides backwards. This can be a little finicky and depends on exactly when you start holding up right. You also have to hit to the left of this line, just above the tile that's barely peeking above the floor. Play around with it a bit and you'll get it. After hitting the wall, hold up left and continue holding it down the tunnel. When you get close to this wall, start holding up right. As soon as you hit the wall, hold directly left and do a tiny jump. If you got a bad angle or held A too long, you might be too far forward here. If you feel like you are, hold neutral very briefly while in the air to slow yourself down a bit. When you get close to the ground, continue holding forward and dive. It's also worth mentioning that diving here actually reduces your speed, so diving earlier is a good way to ensure you won't catapult off the back of the slide. If you dive too early, however, you'll take fall damage, so be careful. After hitting the ground, you're aiming to bounce off this section of the wall. It's faster to bounce closer to the left, but don't worry about it too much when you're starting. Keep in mind that you're aiming to hit the ground before the wall. If you hit the wall directly from the air, you'll just bonk and lose a couple seconds. After bouncing off the wall, I like to go Mario Cam, because it allows you to just hold forward instead of changing directions. In this last bit of slide, try to nudge left or right so you're facing directly at the box. During the star spawn cutscene, go neutral on the stick, then when you pass this dark gray line, roll it directly into the star. Make sure you hold neutral the entire time after the star spawn, or you might go right under the star. Long jump up the stairs, then dive over to the door. Then it's just the same movement you did the first time.
Here we go!
This star is very similar to the last one. Do the exact same movement as before, right up until you finish the race. This time, instead of going neutral, you want to continue holding forward after you finish the race, then keep sliding on your stomach until you pass the blue star's shadow. Roll out, then hold neutral right as you land, otherwise you'll continue sliding off into the wall. Then you can just jump and ground pound the box. To get into the wing cap stage, just press C up and then hold down on the stick. Wingcap reds can be tricky because flying in this game is incredibly nuanced and precise, and also because Mario's flying hitbox is horribly wonky. If you look at these clips, you can see that his hitbox extends way higher than his model would suggest, and it doesn't quite cover his stomach at the bottom. This means that to collect the coins, it's good practice to fly just below them instead of right into them. To start, hold up right, then switch to holding up when you're facing towards the coins. Now I want to talk about some general flying movement real quick. Because flying is so committal, people often tap the direction they want to go instead of just holding it. Short taps on the control stick can keep you going straight down or help gradually turn. This is especially useful at the start of the stage, where tapping up will help you smoothly fly down towards the first 2 coins. After collecting them, hold left to soar up to the top 2. If you approach them at an angle like this, you can simply hold up left when you get close to collect them and turn towards the next 2 at the same time. Remember to tap the control stick to reorient yourself whenever you need to. If dipping down like this is causing you trouble, you can try just tapping up and gliding into each red coin. This definitely loses you some speed, but could help consistency. After the star spawning cutscene, hold left, then up left once you see the tower. Land a short distance away from the button. For this rollout, you actually want to delay it a little bit. If you roll out on the first frame possible, you'll carry all your speed from the flight, rocketing you into the button, which you definitely don't want. After your slightly delayed rollout, we're going to do something called a text skip. Usually after you hit a button, a text box will pop up when you hit the ground. However, we can skip it completely by jumping onto the button, then double jump diving into the star before touching the ground at all. The most common mistake people make on this star is missing one or both of the first 2 coins. Trust me, it'll happen a lot. If it does happen, just go for the rest of the coins normally, then grab those 2 at the end instead. Because you're coming at the tower from a different direction, the movement is slightly different. Land behind the button this time, then press C down during the rollout. Side flip down right, then double jump dive off the button. Long jump up the stairs, then dive over to the Dark World door. Now just long jump twice, then dive onto the trap door to enter your first Bowser stage. Dark World Reds is another star that heavily relies on cycles. See this red coin? You pretty much need one of these rotating platforms under it to grab it. Depending on the timing you get there, you can get one of many cycles, and some of them have been named by the community. This one at around 29 seconds is Tsukishima cycle, which is barely humanly possible. The next is Shigeru cycle, which is what most high-level players get. The next one is normal cycle, which is usually what new players aim to make. The last one is late cycle, which most people generally aren't happy with getting. Each one of these cycles is about a 4-second difference, as you can see with the timer. Because it's only 4 seconds, it's kinda hard to know what cycle you're making. It's hard to explain, but eventually after doing the movement enough times, you'll know exactly what cycle you're making just by keeping track of the mistakes in your head. Long jump forward 3 times, strafing to the left to face towards the button. Right after you get onto the flat surface, hold directly back and try to press the button with your turnaround animation. Long jump directly down, then press C left 3 times. Long jump again, then hold straight forward and dive, rolling out into the red coin. Now I should mention that this button press is pretty tricky, and you'll probably fail it quite a lot. If you do, there are some pretty simple backups to keep in mind. If you turn around but don't get far enough to hit the button, just run around to the right and press the button on your way back, then do the same movement as the regular strat. If you get burned near the button, turn around and wait for the fire to go out, then long jump. Hold back so you land on the bottom step, long jumping again to the right position. After this rollout, hold down before you land, then side flip, pressing C right 3 times while you're in the air. Long jump forward twice along this edge, and press C left during the second one. Hold up left briefly. As soon as you're aligned with the red coin, switch to holding up. Hold neutral just before you land on the box, and wait a split second for Mario to stop moving. Then hold left and kick to maneuver around the fire. Move your control stick up left and long jump, pressing C right 3 times while you're in the air. After you hit the ground, hold right and make sure Mario starts running again before going neutral. If you hold neutral right as you hit the ground, he'll just stop in place and you'll lose all your speed. After going neutral, tap A very lightly for a single jump, then do a big double jump and start holding right again. Triple jump off the slope while kicking the wall at the top. If you did all this really fast, you can double jump dive off this platform. But chances are you'll either ledge grab or land on a lower platform and have to wait for a second for it to rotate around. Whatever ends up happening, just jump dive off the platform and hold left. These Goombas will be scattered around randomly, so dodge them in any way you can and long jump up to the bridge. Press C right and keep moving forward, but try to stay on the right side of the bridge. When you get to the last coin in the row, hold up and long jump, clearing both fences. Press C right again and jump dive twice. Press C left while collecting the coin and long jump forward twice. During these long jumps, you may have to hold right a bit so you don't crash into the fence at the end. Press C left twice and long jump forward yet again. Then, you guessed it, C left and long jump forward one more time. While in the air, press C left twice, then single jump down to the red coin. It's important to change the camera here because it's possible the coin isn't safe to collect with the way this cheese block works. After collecting the coin, hold up and long jump to the other one. Then press C right twice in the air. Circle your stick from right to up left, then long jump over to the revolving platforms we mentioned earlier. If you did everything in this section almost perfectly, you'll be just in time to make the cycle a lot of pros go for, Shigeru cycle, which you can see by the 33 seconds on the clock here. However, with how difficult this stage is, you'll likely make many mistakes. If you do, no worries. You can just land and wait for either normal cycle at 37 seconds or late cycle at 41, or even later cycles if you need to. With more practice, you'll get more and more consistent at these strats, and you can aim for making your first Shigeru cycle eventually. After grabbing the red coin, press C left and long jump directly forward, then long jump again. When you hit the ground, hold down, then side flip up left and wall kick up to the last red coin. Jump to the next platform and walk over to the left, falling just to the right of the wall. While you're falling, hold left for a second to make sure you're rubbing against the wall. Here, you can long jump into the coin or just walk into it and long jump after the star spawn. There's also a slightly harder strat you could try here. After grabbing the 7th red, hold up and slightly left, then jump and dive onto the close edge of this platform, rolling out into the coin below. This strat is pretty risky though, because rolling out too far forward will cause you to faceplant into the wall and fall to your death. After grabbing the 8th red, long jump forward, press C left twice, then long jump again into the wall kicking twice. The sloped edges of this button can eat your double jump, so maneuver down a little to dodge it, then double jump up to the slope. Triple jump dive up, then jump dive into the star. Just jump kick into the pipe for our first Bowser fight.
So long, Bowser.
How you take on this fight is heavily dependent on what direction you're most comfortable spinning the analog stick. Try spinning the stick clockwise and counterclockwise, then decide which you're going to go with. The faster you can spin the stick, the faster you can throw him. When you start the fight, you can either go around Bowser to the left or to the right. After grabbing him, we'll press C right to aim right at the bomb. If you went around him to the right, he'll be on your right. If you went around him to the left, he'll be on your left. So let's say you went around the right side. If you spin clockwise, you'll be aiming to throw Bowser after exactly 1 3/4 spins. I'll show you. Spin him clockwise until you face towards the bomb. That's 3/4 of a spin. Now spin him again 360 degrees and you get 1 3/4. Now let's say you spin counterclockwise. Now you only have 1 1/4 spins to work with. Spin him counterclockwise until he's facing the bomb. That's 1/4 of a spin. Then spin him 360 degrees and you get 1 1/4. Both of these methods work, but you have to spin very fast to get the 1 1/4 spin, and you have to be more accurate as well. I highly recommend going with the easier 1 3/4 method to start. So you're probably wondering, if I'm more comfortable spinning counterclockwise, how can I do that? And that's where grabbing Bowser from the other side comes in. If you started the fight by running to the left of him, you'll be on the opposite side of Bowser when you grab him. This means that counterclockwise spinners can do their 1 3/4 spins with no problem, and clockwise spinners can try the 1 1/4 spin if they're feeling up to the challenge. One of the benefits of not spinning him more than twice here is that if you miss, he likely won't go flying into the abyss. You can just grab him again and easily back it up. After hitting the throw, face towards him and stand relatively close to him. You need to be facing directly at him, so some people tiptoe to make sure they have the right angle. And that concludes part 2. If this was helpful to you guys, I'd really appreciate a like or a sub. Over 80% of my channel's watch time comes from non-subs, and these videos take a long time to make, so I'd be sick if you guys could help out. If you want to see my speedruns, you can catch me on my Twitch stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday night. Thanks for watching, guys.